All right. Another day, another banger. Only bangers lifestyle. You know what it is. You have to rough it out. You have to win through the storm. That's what we're doing every day. We're training our mind. You must really become strong mentally and physical to withstand and win in this game. A lot of things are going to happen that are going to try to throw you off kilter. You got to look at everything like a game. You know, you start making progress, people are going to get jealous, people are going to get angry. People are going to attack, people are going to trick and confuse you. Unexpected obstacles will show up on the path. And that's not something to be afraid of. It's just something to prepare for. When you look at the weather and you see that it's going to rain, you see it's going to storm for the week, you get a good umbrella. You see it's going to be a snowstorm, you get a shovel. You get shelter. Or you know you have to go on a big run, you know you need to go on a big hike. You prepare your body. So, just sharing some thoughts and sharing some personal things that are happening with me as I'm making the most progress in my career as I have thus far, you know. So I recently executive produced A$AP Ferg's last album, Flip Phone Shorty. Been working on this since June. Really honored that he trusted me with overseeing the production on the project. I added to every song, and then I fully produced 3 songs on there: Polo, Fisher Price, and Flip Phone Anthem. Got some legends on there. Got Gucci Mane on there. Got A-Witch, the biggest artist in Japan. Got Denzel Curry, Big Boss Fett, French Montana, Hunter. A lot of great artists on there. So, you know, that dropped actually on my birthday on November 28th. And that was great. You know, big bangers. And, when you release your stuff and when you release it on this big of level, it's expected to get haters, you know. Like I talked about before, you don't want everyone to like your stuff. That's not the point. That's one of the points. You don't want everyone to like your stuff. And then number 2, only really be protective about whose opinion that you take. Everyone's opinion is not valid. Right? A lot of these reactor channels on YouTube and a lot of this commentary on Instagram, Twitter, etc. is not valid. Why? Because most people don't have a proper palate in terms of music. They're not well versed in good taste. They don't understand what's actually a banger. It's like if someone is eating McDonald's every day. They're eating McDonald's and they're eating chips for their main meal. And then you come and you show them a great steak. You show them a delicious meal, or you show them a really exotic meal that's like a delicacy, but from another culture. You know, if someone's main meal is McDonald's, they're going to reject that delicious steak. They're going to reject that delicious Mediterranean food. You know, Caribbean food, whatever it is. Because it's not familiar. And they're afraid. So same thing happens with music. If someone is not well versed in music that's actually a banger, which takes a lot of effort and takes a lot of time, and it takes an energy being passed from teacher to student, then they're not going to have that taste. They're not going to have the proper palate. And nowadays, anyone can just go and say, I'm a reviewer. So you have to really take into consideration these elements before you allow that person's judgment to be validated. Right? Most of them are not valid. So you got to have a proper palate. So I'm not looking at anyone else's opinion because I know the taste that I have, and I know who's given me that taste and the taste that they had. And I've done my research, and I do my work. And I make bangers. Everything I make is a banger. I can confidently say that. Being a producer for 19 years, I can say, and it's not about the time, right? It's about having the proper palate, having the wisdom to be able to show it to people whose opinion is valid and get their approval. And then to continuously repeat that process and see the reaction in the body of people that my music does. Right? Music should give a reaction, and even the reaction of hatred, even the reaction of judgment and repulsion is much, much better than just a mid, like, it's okay, not that good. I would rather have that. I'm glad I have haters. I'm grateful I have haters because I want to move something within you. I want to throw something around in you. I want to shake you up. Right? And you may not understand it, you know. I used to be a hater at times when I didn't understand something. But then I came around later on. I was like, man, that was really innovative. So, same thing is going to happen with these people who are hating on my stuff now. So, you got to keep going. Only Bangers lifestyle. That's how we do it. Onward, forward, and be very cautious of whose opinion that you take. Everyone's opinion is not valid, even if they're a professional in the industry. I have many friends who are professionals in the industry. No, I'm not going to ask their opinion. I'm not even going to send them the album. I don't want their opinion. I know their energy. I know they're pessimistic, nihilistic. No thanks. You're not getting this. And if you do approach me and you're like, oh, I got it, I was like, I'm not going to ask you what you like. I'm not going to ask you what your favorite song is. I don't care. I don't want any of your energy. This is about energy. Making a banger is about energy, and being able to maintain and continue to grow is also about energy. Some people say, oh, that's denial. It's not denial. You're creating your reality, and people are going to treat you based on how you treat your own work and the energy that you move with. You know, Master P brought about it to radio stations over and over and over again. And the DJ kept saying, this isn't it, this isn't it, this isn't it. But finally, they kept telling him, bring a new song. He said no. He kept bringing the same song. He was persistent. He knew it was a banger. But he knew what he was doing was innovative and outside the box. So he brought that, and finally it broke through. But he had to stay consistent through a lot of hatred. I'm sure he had to deal with a lot of shit. You know? Same with Miles Davis. When he made Bitches Brew, his most innovative album, critics hated it. They couldn't stand it. They didn't understand it. But it moved something within them that they had to hate on it. Same with Herbie Hancock, Rocket. First jazz song to be like a hit on the radio. So things that are innovative, things that are disruptive, they make people react in a positive or a negative way. The worst thing is for just something to just be mid. So I'm glad some people are reacting negative. I'm glad people are reacting positive. By far, I've seen a lot more people react positively than negatively. But as a human being and as a sensitive artist who's put a lot of work into this, the negativity stings and it sits in. So I'm here to remind you, you got to just refocus and really be careful with your energy and be wise and move forward in a positive direction. So, only bangers. I only make bangers. I'm the best. I'm a rich scene artist. That's the conversation you need to have with yourself in the mirror every morning and every evening. Be very clear what your goals are. It took me 19 years to get to this place. It doesn't need to take you 19 years. I laid everything out in my book. I lay everything out in Finishers Club. I tap in with you every week to make sure you're not veering off and getting tricked by your mind. So, choice is up to you, like the Matrix, the red pill or the blue pill. You can stay stuck in your own cycle, or you can wake up and move forward on the path guided by someone, myself, who's done it and knows how to do it. So proof is in the pudding. I just went seemingly overnight working with multi-platinum artists. You know, it took 19 years to get to an overnight success. And I feel like everything's just started now. So you have a rare opportunity, if you're seeing this video, to work with me directly. So don't waste it. Onlybangers.life. Have a great day. Peace.